6th of December, and this is my personal yoga practice. Getting started with a short forward fold. Just enough to feel some space between the vertebrae. Maybe pops in the neck. Doesn't feel like there's any pops on the back, or that there's going to be any. There we go. That feels all good. So next up, upward facing dog. So you get in frame so that you can see what you're doing. And yeah, that's upward facing dog. And I chuckled because the low back is kind of getting at me today for some reason. Just a hair, right? It's saying it's going to take a little bit before we can get all the way. So I kind of head back. The low back is still feeling like a limiting factor. Feel the pose, feel the stretch. And yeah, so I've got a new theory on the conscious awareness that you bring to your body. When you feel in your mind's eye a certain part of the body, right? Your attention awareness to that part of the body goes up. It seems like it increases the blood flow to that part of the body. Maybe that's what's meant by prana in the old Indian lore. Who knows? But in any case, you feel the parts of the body. It's also what's cool about stretching, right? When you do the stretch, especially when you're stretching a muscle, it's not really a muscle getting stretched right here. It's more just testing the max of the lower back and then trying to open the mid and upper back. But on the other poses, when you are feeling a maximum stretch on a various muscle, and you send your conscious awareness to that muscle, right, that opens the blood vessels, that opens the body, gets the process started to enhance that aspect of the body. Minute left. So be sure to bring your conscious awareness to the parts of the body that are being stretched and flexed. Breathe through the nose, nice and slow. Let the breath slide in and out of the body. Feel the entirety of the body. You can feel just the one part of the body, right? The part that's being stretched and flexed. You can also send your conscious awareness to the body as a whole. And that's that. All right. Hey, got a viewer. 2 viewers. Yay, good stuff. Relax the hands. Allow the hands to equalize. You don't need much time to equalize today for whatever reason. I guess I wasn't doing the arms as giving them as much sensation as I normally do. All right, next up is scorpion pose, another back bend. But it's fun and I want to get good at it, so I do it every day, right? And I can already do it, kind of, right? I can already balance, but I want to get better at it. I want the back to open some more. Today's 6th, so start with the right leg, kick up with the right leg, find some balance. Left elbow doesn't feel right. There we go. Because it's just that easy, right? Now the right elbow doesn't feel right. Oh well. Find your expression of pose. And hold it 2 more minutes. Good luck with that. Your mileage may vary. Still have more effort with the shoulders. Keeping things in place. Try to keep the neck relaxed. And yeah, feel that back bend. So use the abs to protect the low back. And then try to bend the upper and middle parts of the back while maintaining your balance. Breathe through the nose if you can. It's not... I can breathe through the nose, but it's not very relaxed. So, I prefer to breathe through the mouth because it's much more relaxed. Actually, the mouth and the nose. Count your breaths. $50 seconds. Six. 7. Oh, keep balance. 25 seconds. 9. And that is that. Gracefully come down. Relax. Let the body recalibrate itself. Lots of effort on that. Alright, next up, forward fold. Long form forward fold. I start all my practices with a short forward fold just to get the spine in a good spot. Because I do this after I wake up in the morning. Sometimes not all the vertebrae are in place. And so that quick forward fold at the beginning of the practice helps get the vertebrae in place. And now I do the long forward fold. So I hold it for 3 minutes. And the reason I do that order, right? So that first short forward fold is just to, as I said, get some space between the vertebrae. Get everything back into alignment after waking up in the morning. But then I do back bends, right? Upward facing dog and scorpion pose. Those are my 2 back bends. And then most of the rest of the practice I do forward folds. Jab Shirasana, the splits, all that good stuff. Where if I'm flexing the spine, it's generally flexing forward. Anterior flex on the spine. And you want to let the body dangle as best as you can. Let the vertebrae just dangle down from the pelvis. Feel the big toes, heels, ankles all together. 3 points of pressure between the 2 feet. And if you're so inclined, you can place the hands under the feet, which enhances the stretch for me. Must be pulling myself down or something further than what gravity can do when I don't have my hands under my feet. Feel that nice balance. Bouncing with the heels. Try to keep the heels, ankles, toes together. Even if you've got your hands under your feet. Alright, good luck with that. And 30 seconds left. So it's good at you to make sure you check to start the timer. Start to feel that stretch. Keep the legs straight. Try to breathe through the nose if you can. And that's that. Alright. So, next up. Half pigeon. Yay. Good stuff. So, most half pigeon, right? You start off here and you go down here, right? So, what I like to do is get the left shoulder, the opposite shoulder, under the front ankle, so that I can get a nice deep stretch onto my right hip. Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's much growth happening for me. It feels like I was here yesterday, but whatever. So I feel a lot of sensation in the right hip, and it doesn't feel like the left side of the pelvis is getting any further down. But that's the way I do it every day, right? And feel that sensation. Bring conscious awareness to the part of the body that's being stretched. Right hip getting a real good stretch. Minute 45 seconds. Breathe through the nose if you can. Enjoy that stretch. A zero effort pose, pretty nice. Where you can feel an intense stretch and not have to use any musculature to achieve that. As things start to open, right? Stuff starts to move a little bit. And we're done. Alright, so that's that. Other side. Find that half pigeon pose. Right, maybe old school half pigeon, right? Bring this back, so less of a stretch. If you get the shin parallel, or the shin perpendicular to the line of the body, right? That's what a lot of people go for. And you try to bring this down, and then in order to enhance the stretch for myself, after I get everything in the right spot, I get the right shoulder, the opposite shoulder underneath the front ankle. And yeah, on this side, I've got feels like I'm using a little bit of the support muscles, in fact a little bit of the hip muscles to prevent the stretch, because it was a little bit too much sensation at first. But as I start to relax, I can relax those muscles that I was tensing up at first. As I get accustomed to the sensation and get to a point that I can hold the stretch all day long. So I can do the pose again, 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 and again, day after day after day after day. There we go. This side feels a little more open. But it's pretty interesting. It feels like small adjustments really very quickly leads to a heightened sensation. I feel that sensation on the left hip. Also feels like it might be constricting some of the blood flow to the left leg. Nothing major, it's not going to fall asleep, or at least not too much. But definitely feels like a little bit of constricted blood flow. And yeah, if you're ever doing something that doesn't feel right, yeah, don't do it. Pull back. The body says, yeah, I don't think so. You honor and you stretch your body, you pull back. It's always good to have a successful negotiation with your body so that both sides win. Looks like 5 seconds. And that's that. Alright, yeah, I'm getting out of that very easy. Alright, just kind of rotate up. Bring that back leg up. Alright, yeah, definitely feel some blood flow returning to the left leg. So it's a very enhanced expression, actually constriction of blood flow to the left leg. Cool stuff, interesting. Alright, clear that out. Next up, Janu Sirsasana or Hanumanasana. I want to do Hanumanasana, but I think I'm just going to go and do Janu Sirsasana, right? Hanumanasana is like front splits. But since I'm feeling so tired this morning, I think I'll just stick with Janu Sirsasana. Hanumanasana takes a lot more effort, so you have to use a lot more muscles to stay in the pose. Whereas with Janu Sirsasana, it takes a lot less effort. I can just let the body hang. Forehead's already on the earth, so that's pretty cool. And slowly relaxing parts on the right leg. Relax the left ankle. It's interesting figuring out how much of the left ankle you can relax. Because if you relax it all the way, it feels like the shin or the ankle joint is having too much lateral pressure. It's like the bones are trying to slide away from each other right at the ankle. So kind of don't want to completely relax the ankle, right, to the point where it's not comfortable, right? You want to stay comfortable even if you're at a heightened sensation. So relax as best as you can. And now I'm feeling a nice, intense hamstring stretch. So send my conscious awareness to the right hamstring, that part where it's really feeling the stretch. Just bring that conscious awareness to the point where you have the acute sensation, the most acute sensation, and that sensation will start to lessen. Relax. Continue to breathe. 22 seconds.
So I am using my shoulder and abs a little bit to press the right shoulder into the space between the right kneecap and the right quad. To get that leg stretched just a little more. Alright, that's that. Next up, the other side. Alright, lots of viewers today. So, Janu Sirsasana on the other side. And on the right side, I just kind of floated down. Didn't really grab my leg until I had gotten most of the way down. And yeah, this seems to be more like the hip is tighter on this side. Alright, somewhere like in this area is what makes the left side tighter than the right side on me. Because my left side is naturally just a hair tighter than my right side. Feel that stretch. Also feels like there's, like my low back is pointing like in a direction. My pelvis is open a little bit, so my back has to counterpose a little bit. And after being on the right side, right now it's got to shift over to the left side. After doing the right leg first, and the low back had a certain position for that, shifting into the opposite position for the left side, taking some effort. Head reached the earth, yay! Whereas on the right side, the head's kind of made it down pretty quick. Actually, I have to use more of my hip stabilizer muscles to keep the leg in the right spot. Relax, feel that stretch. Bring your conscious awareness to the most acute sensation. Feel a nice stretch on the left hamstring. Get a good deep stretch on the left hamstring today. 5 seconds. And there we go. Alright, next up, a form of wide splits. So yesterday, as I was kind of doing this a little bit, because normally I go into full wide splits, right? Right, because everybody watches me. But as I was modeling the different starters to a full wide splits, right? You start off with Baddha Konasana, right? You slowly bring this down till you get this all the way down. Start the timer. And after that, bring your legs out. Maybe you bring them to 90 degrees. And I said, hey, bring this forward a little bit. So for this, today, I'm actually going to keep my legs at about 90 degrees. So that shoulder's there, that leg's there. And then bring this forward. Because this is something of a stretch. A little bit different than what I normally do, but it's pretty cool. And yeah, there are a little bit of masculine issues here, but not presenting much of a problem, at least at the moment. Things seem to have slid into an acceptable position all by itself. So on this, I'm really working trying to rotate the pelvis because I feel some tightness around this area. and it's actually a fair amount of sensation, right? Whereas where I'm working the hamstring, right, it's a fairly acute, like a single muscle, whereas here it's just kind of overall. And I keep grabbing my feet because they want to splay back. This keeps them moving forward. And then I've actually got quite a bit of effort and control on the spine. Using the back, right? So I'm actually lifting the back off the earth a little bit. Not completely, right? But just a little bit as I reach the earth to try and like I'm reaching my chin forward and rotating the pelvis more. So I'm lifting the back just enough to rotate the pelvis more, which creates sensation on both sides of the hip. And that's the limiting factor, is that sensation. And I can feel the quad, right? The quad against, I feel there's a lot of tightness right here, right? Because there's all these muscles right here pressing up against each other. And it's the quad that's not used to getting compressed like this, is what it feels like. So it's actually a pretty cool stretch. A lot of different sensation than my normal splits pose. Alright, and then that's 3 minutes. Alright, so next up, handstand. Yay. So let's see what mileage we can get from here, right? So can I lift up? No, not really. Yeah. Because the feet are too far forward, I don't have enough center of mass to pull up. Alright, something like that. To get up into the starter pose. Alright, but in any case, you get up to your starter pose, right? Get your hands about shoulder width apart. Spread the fingers. Fingers, right, not parallel to each other, but away from each other a little bit. That helps me protect my wrists. And you start off with hovering, and then after you find hovering, then you start to slowly press up into that handstand. But only when you're ready. Oh, yeah. One thing that helps to see if you're doing anything is to get more of your body in frame, right? Get the legs in frame, as well as just the hand positioning. We'll see. There we go. Now balance. Come on. Balance. Oh, come on. Balance. Oh, that's that. All right. Hey, fun stuff today. Thanks all of you for watching. I start this every morning. I do this every morning at 8 a.m. And all these videos go over to YouTube. So if you look up Ben Yoga King on YouTube, there's lots of stuff on there. And I hope each and every one of you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for stopping by.